All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. I Googled, are you allowed to react to other YouTubers' content? I've done in the past, but not like a big channel like this. It says you're generally allowed as long as it's transformative and falls under fair use by adding significant commentary. We'll be adding commentary and criticism. I'm not just going to play the man's content and, just steal it. But I would appreciate it, Lucas. I'm one of your biggest fans. I literally watch you every day, and you're one of the few YouTubers I have time to actually watch, as a content creator myself. So, man, don't come after me. Just give me a warning, like send me a message, like an email or something to take it down if you don't want this shared. But you just put it up, and I want to react to it. I want to see what he's got to say. Lucas is pretty insightful about race matters, especially like when it comes to white men. I know I can already feel people unsubscribing just by reading white men or white people, so thin-skinned. But I'm not going to stop. Like I mentioned in the video this morning, you probably unsubscribe now because I'm not going to moderate my content for anybody, and losing subscribers will just make me go harder. So there you go. Anyways, I'm not changing for any of you people. I am a man in this country with First Amendment rights, and I get to speak my mind just like you. Anyways, let's see what Lucas got to say.
This was brutal.
What's wrong with white men? For context, white guys are my best friends growing up. But something recently is just, I don't know what, something's broken inside of you where it's just, I don't know, a flip got switched.
Oh my goodness. So
as I used to care about you a lot.
The recent interview of Tucker Carlson.
I care about everybody's human being, but I used to, I thought white guys were, like I said, they were my best friends growing up. And to see what you become is truly just heartbreaking.
And Nick Fuentes. And I couldn't help but get an overwhelming emotion of sadness, to be honest.
That's what I feel. That's what I'm talking about. We don't
I genuinely felt.
We don't hate you. The thing about it, white people probably sit around thinking black people sit around all day talking about how much we hate white people. We don't hate you. Like, we feel sorry for a lot of you.
Sympathy for these two guys, for the white,
like I said, a lot of black people are living great lives.
White youth. I just couldn't help but feel
like me and Lucas.
Sadness.
I feel sorry for you
when watching this interview, because
you see a smile on his face. That's true happiness. That's the way I feel every day. And like, man, I just want y'all to have a great life too.
So we're looking at what is considered, peak white youth male, the representation, peak white male right now, currently in the political arena. And it honestly is biblical where we are in this country, where it talks about, in the scripture of building your house on the sand versus building it on the rock. Because when the waves come, your house on the sand is going to fall apart. And what we are witnessing is really the collapse of many white males.
Beta.
And
he's not wrong. And that beta was kind of disrespectful. I wouldn't have done that. But he's not wrong. Like, you guys are collapsing, man. We're trying to provide a safety net underneath you before you fall into the ocean. You're like a beach house. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mean all, because there are many that are fine, but there are many currently right now that are losing it. They are collapsing. They are deteriorating in front of our faces because they built their house on control, right? When it comes to their women, they've always had control of their women. When it comes to any type of respect of other groups, black people, if you.
That's something I was, this is going to be a long video, but I was talking to my parents the other day about this, and they were like, you got a good point. Why are white people the only group of people where you got to watch what you say around them? Like, oh, don't say that, you might offend. Like, they're the only group of people in my life I've ever felt like I had to watch what I say around. Because the control thing, like, I can't imagine what white women are going through that are married to some of these guys. And women in general, they ain't got to be white. But, man, you can just see it, sense it. A lot of these guys they have a need control over a woman. I never understood that. I never felt the need to dominate a woman.
You looked at a white man the wrong way, you'd be lynched. If his wife were to talk back to him, he would,
That's
assault
what I'm talking about.
And you're seeing this, of this collapse,
we can see
of this control, this hierarchy, and a lot of their privilege is being stripped from them. A lot of their control is being stripped from them. We see this on a relationship standard, where their women, the control and the power they had at one period of time has been gone. Now their women can go into the workforce. Now they're earning more than.
Why does that? I wish I could talk to an incel in a sincere way. Why does women going into the workforce and having a place in corporate America bother you so much? Like, how does that affect you at all? I'm not talking about just like your mates. You're worried about strangers. Like women you'll never meet. You worry about their reproductive rights, their careers. Like, how does that affect you at all? And that's why you're collapsing. You're focused on every other group. Women, trans people, Latinos, black people. Focus on yourself, man. You know how I got to the way I am? I consider myself, I'm living a pretty great life right now. Nobody will ever give me credit for that. But you can see it, the way I live. It's not like the average bear. And it took me 10 years to build myself into what you're hearing speak to you right now. You got to put the time in. You got to make yourself better. Stop worrying about everybody else, tearing them down and build yourself up. I'm trying to warn you before it's too late.
You know, they're
speaking from personal experience.
Counterparts and white men and white youth. Now they get to choose who they want to be with. In many cases, it's not the white male or the white youth. Now it's, they have a litany of men to choose from.
Damn.
So now they've lost control there. When it comes to income, right? That was one thing that they had control.
They don't have the income, they don't have the control.
Hey, I'm the breadwinner. Anything that happens has to come through me. Well, now that they've lost control over that, and then we look at the job market, they're losing.
That's what white guys. Black guys, we've never had the income or the control. Get used to it. Like, while you're crying and bitching and moaning, we've never had that. Imagine going through that kind of situation where you've never had any kind of control. Imagine how that would feel. Like, we don't even know what it's like. We can't look and say, I want to be that. Like, we don't even know what it feels like to be in control of every kind of power in this country. We've never had it.
Jobs H-1B visa workers. Now we're seeing as far as, the ICE, right? They're hoping that the ICE raids balance the playing field, but it's not. It's not the Indian guy that is the reason why you lost a job. You're just not qualified for the job.
Yes.
It's not DEI that made you lose a job.
I said this in my video last night. Why do you think DEI really exists? It's not to take a job from some qualified white guy. The problem is there's not enough qualified white guys out there to do these jobs.
You're just not qualified for the job. So they're losing control there. And what is happening is that this empire that they built on the sand of superiority, and it's our way or the highway. Their control over religion. Hey, it's white Christian male. That is the elite of this country. We're starting to see an erosion of that, of many people turning away from the faith due to the representation that we have.
Damn.
Every single point
clips.
is crumbling, and they don't know what to do. It's gotten so bad where you're having white men dress up in Nazi uniforms in hopes to gain some type of financial backing, such as the guy recently who did that, and now he's doing a GoFundMe, or I think it's Gibson Go, where he's trying to accumulate. I think it was over like 200K or something like that.
What?
Like it's pathetic. The state at which they are in.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And because they're grown so accustomed to this power, to this control, it being stripped away from them, they don't have an identity. We're witnessing them.
Hey man, y'all think this is bad? What do you think's gonna happen when y'all become the minority in like 20 years? And I always say, you can throw out all these Latinos. You're not even throwing out that many, because Joe Biden and Barack Obama were way ahead of you in terms of removing people from the country. But you ran on mass deportation. You can't even do that right. Like brute force shit. You can't even do that. But what do you think's going to happen when you become the physical minority? You can't stop it, because these Latinos are still having babies. Blacks are having babies. It's white people that aren't having the kids anymore. And math, at the end of the day, is all that matters in terms of that. So good luck.
Having an identity crisis. That's why you see when it comes to the school shootings. That's why you see when it comes to the suicide rates. That's why you see when it comes to depression, when it comes to the birth rates. There is a collapse that we are witnessing, and they are
You just said it, the birth rates. You're not having the babies, man. You can't win. And you view it as winning and losing. White race being on top. That's not going to be the case. I'm sorry. And race isn't even real. So I'm not sorry. You're stupid.
Everything right now on Donald Trump. That's what they're banking. They're banking on Donald Trump.
You think Donald Trump's going to save you?
Like
That's
Nick
so
Fuentes
sad.
And people like Tucker Carlson to re-energize them of like their manhood, of their purpose. That, hey, this is a white country and we got to stand up and fight and we can't allow this to happen. And it's just...
Once again, I know I pause a lot. I don't really care how long this video is, because this video isn't for simpletons. It's for people that want to think about things. And I said it, man. You cannot get to where you want to be. You can't become a man, a real man, as you want to see yourself, by worrying about other people or thinking another man in Donald Trump is going to lift you up. You got to do it yourself. I put 10 years of time into what I am to become what you're seeing in front of you right now. That took 10 fucking years. You better get started right now, especially if you're like already 30. Like you're going to be 40 by the time you get to where you want to be. And then it might be too late. I'm telling you, man, start now.
Just, it's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic to see, but it's also sad, man.
And immigrants and women.
I have nothing left.
Going into the interview, one way that they managed to cope with this loss of power is the blame game. Every accusation is a confession for these people, for this lineage of evil. So you have, Nick Fuentes talk about that he got radicalized.
You think I'm rough? You think I'm tough on white people? He calls them the lineage of evil.
By Mark Levin, which I think is hilarious when it comes to race, where it's like, hey, if white people aren't the majority in this country, that would be a bad thing.
I was listening to Mark.
Oh, wise up. Unsubscribing from my channel and shit. Motherfucker, I'm a moderate when it comes to race. And Nick Fuentes is an ugly motherfucker. Look, he looks like a fucking rat. Look at that piece of shit. That guy's like 23, he looks 53. Ew.
Levin's show. America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself,
look at him.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good.
And that's what we're seeing with this administration. That's what we're seeing with a lot of the white youth that are being galvanized and radicalized.
That dude is going to destroy so many young white youth. Man, I feel so sorry for the upcoming generation, Gen Alpha or whatever. You have no idea what kind of world of hurt you're in for.
To not having any other purpose.
Damn.
It's
guys
sad,
like me and Lucas, we're going to dominate the future.
With it by saying, hey, it's the Jewish person.
Let me say it again. Guys like me and Lucas, we're going to dominate the future.
Right? It's the Jews' fault
that
I can't get a woman
right
because of the interracial propaganda.
You're fucking around.
It's the Jews' fault that I can't get a job and create this nuclear family
it's
because
the
of the
Jews'
DEI.
fault. The easiest, oldest scapegoat there is the Jews' fault.
They're having these laws that are benefiting or stopping the racism because, of CRT. They're teaching it into the, in the schools and blaming white people. It's the Jews' fault. And that's, 9 out of 10 where you see a lot of these, these fragile, white youth and white men go to. It's the blame game.
Beta.
And if you think about it, that in and of itself is sad because like you're saying you're the superior race of people, you do everything great, you create,
This is why I like Lucas. He feels the same way I feel. He's just better at expressing it in a more eloquent way. Sometimes he's meaner than me. But you can't keep going around calling yourself genetically superior when you're like the one group of people that's collapsing. White guys.
By Canes, you civilization builders, but you're losing the country and you're losing by every metric to a group of Jewish people? Is that
everybody I know is doing great? They ain't white.
That's what you're telling me? You're losing to these people? It's kind of pathetic, to be honest. And I think we're seeing just...
y'all need to hear this.
A circular turn of events where it's like they blame and then it's like, that's kind of pathetic to admit that.
Everything.
Then they blame, that's kind of pathetic to admit that. They blame, that's kind of pathetic to admit that. While at the same time, they have this vision.
It is pathetic. Like you're sitting around blaming a whole group of people, Jews, immigrants, women, trans people, black people, for why you ain't shit. When have you ever seen me come on here blaming people for why I can't be to where I want to be? You fucking persevere through that shit. You push through that shit. You keep punching at it. And you become a winner regardless. If you're truly genetically superior, the cream will rise to the top if you're truly genetically superior. Trust me.
Of themselves once again goes back to control, right? They control.
Nobody can hold you down if you're genetically superior.
They control how we are perceived and how other groups of people are perceived. And
did you hear what I said? Nobody can hold you down if you're truly genetically superior. Think about it.
You see that they're
you're letting a group of Jews stop you? That's genetic superiority? I don't think so. You're talking about Jews, like one of the smallest religious groups on this planet. You letting them stop you? Okay.
Vision of how they view themselves is like this Chad alpha male who's like, just the ruler of the world. And in reality, it's furthest thing from the truth. It's the furthest thing from the truth. You see a lot of these racists, a lot of these, the white nationals and whatnot. They are always on the polar opposites of the spectrum.
Like
Either they're very skinny and fragile, you know, they look very frail in their appearance, or you have these bloated, fat, you know, corpulent individuals.
No, Jack Pill is gone. I don't hate Charlie Kirk. Honestly, if I could flip a switch right now, even at all the videos I made about that boy, if I could flip a switch right now and bring it back, I would.
It's like neither one of them is this Chad image that they view themselves as.
He deserved
but
that.
The one part of the interview that really sent me into the spiral of depression was Nick Fuentes talking about, you know, why he's not married and, you know, the relationship a gap and what's going on right now.
I mean, honestly, it's the
gay
women.
vision.
The women are extremely liberal. I don't know. I personally
look at this guy. The way he is squirming around and laughing nervously and looking down. Yeah, this guy's not straight. I'm sorry, man. This guy's not. I got a world-class gaydar. It blinks red every time I look at this fella. That's okay. That's okay. I got stories about Nick. Man, I've heard stories about him sucking a little. But I've heard stories, baby. This guy is not straight, and that's okay.
Find women very frustrating.
And
he said he finds women frustrating. No straight man says you find women frustrating. Look, frustrating.
Tucker Carlson apologizes for calling him gay. Nick Fuentes doesn't even acknowledge it, right? He just smiles. That's because Nick Fuentes is a homosexual. That's really the
those are Lucas's words, not mine.
Comedy of this all is that he's a homosexual. He's been caught watching trans porn. You know, the constant degeneracy that he speaks ill against. This is what, you know, he's consuming on a regular basis.
I do not consider trans porn to be degeneracy, for the record. I disavow what he just said.
I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way.
I'm sorry I called you gay.
And the ironic part of this interview is them
with his arms crossed, looking like
professing to be high IQ and high impulse.
At this point, if I was arms crossed
on a regular basis.
I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way.
Look at him. Look at him. It's like the future and the past talking to each other.
But the comedy and the ironic part of this interview is them professing to be high IQ and high impulse control, right? That's like the stereotype where they love to, you know, throw on black people. Oh, you guys are low impulse control, right? I find it hilarious because this goes back.
Low impulse control as he walks into a school with a fully loaded mag.
Back to, once again, control. Is that it got to a point in the conversation where they're talking about, hey, we should throw people who do porn in jail. The people who, you know, create porn, throw them in jail. They should be stopped. We should stop.
You know why anybody would want somebody who does porn to be in jail? Because they can't stop watching it.
OnlyFans. We should stop all of this.
Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn.
What? How would you arrest them all? It's First Amendment, dumbass. We've been through this.
And
someone needs to.
I hope someone.
It went all the way to the Supreme Court. Larry Flint. Porn is a First Amendment right. Stupid. You can't send anybody to jail, you fucking fascist.
Arrest them, like, right away.
What? I find it fascinating.
You know the history of their own country.
They profess to have such high impulse control, but they admit that they have such low impulse control.
You can't stop whacking
over their impulses that the only way to stop them from this degeneracy.
That's another problem with young men, I think. Probably porn addiction, why you can't talk to women. Why you look at women in such a materialistic, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Objectifying way. It's porn.
Is to make it illegal.
Beta.
Did anyone find that interesting? See,
you're
telling me the only way for white males, for white youth to stop, because he said weed, porn, and gambling or whatever. The only way, or video games, that's what it was.
This is their life. Weed, gaming, porn, and I think they know it's bad.
The only way for white males to stop that is to make it illegal? What happened to this impulse control? What happened to this high IQ? You know that it's doing harm, but you lack the IQ to go about and seek treatment, which ironically, makes up 92% of sex addicts who go and seek treatment is white males, and then you lack the impulse control to just stop this degenerate behavior.
I bet you, if we looked at the stats of what percentage of men are in sex addiction therapy, you think it's about 80% white guys?
Behavior. But yet you want to profess, you're low IQ, all degeneracy. It's comedy. It really is comedy. It goes back to what is the the CPAC,
Especially
where
the kind you shouldn't be
they
watching.
broke Grindr. They shut down the servers. It's just all you're finding all these MAGA pastors who are talking, oh, this is horrible, and then they get arrested with child material, right? Or they find out that they're committing let's say non-heterosexual acts. And it's fascinating to see. It's truly fascinating to see. Like I said, this interview just really made me feel sad. It just really made me feel sad, the state of white men and white youth currently in 2025. Because if this is where we're headed, we are in for some rough times. And I think it's up to black men to help when it comes to this incel rate, okay? If a black man could
How can I help? Okay, so we're wrapping up here, getting near the end. I've enjoyed this. I know it's a yappy episode, but I said I was going to react, you know what I mean? It's going to be one of my longer episodes. Well, it's only 21 minutes. But I want to hear about the part where we can help black men. I'm trying to help you, white guy. There's still, believe it or not, there's still part of me that has a soft side for you, even though you treat me like dog shit.
Some of these white kids who've gone into the schools, who've gone into the churches, we could single-handedly take down much of these, just inane mass shootings. We can do that. Now, whether we choose to, that's yet to be seen. But I urge black men to adopt an incel. This is something that I stand firm on. Adopt them. You could save, a ton of kids in a church. You could save a ton of people, at a grocery store if you just adopt them and teach them how to talk to women. And I think a lot of that would be, that would change the world.
How do you do it?
Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, that's racist, okay? That's racist, right? Jason racist. Or if you don't believe, you see, that right there, call me a racist for speaking facts, that hurt your feelings.
And that's what you people did to me. I know nobody's watching it at this point, but you dumb little piece of shit that unsubscribed from the channel, you just calling me a racist for speaking facts. Oh, and I cited my sources. But I'm the racist? I guess reality is racist.
As Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings.
Your facts don't care about your feelings, dummy. Remember that?
What happened to y'all?
I don't care about your fucking feelings.
What happened to the bike kings? What happened to the civilization builders? Hell,
I
didn't even settle for a slave master, bro. Right now, I don't even think y'all even have it in you to be slave masters. Y'all would be the slave.
Y'all got it in you. He said y'all don't have it in you to be slave masters. He's right. Y'all are pussy ass bitches are so fucking fake and full of it.
In current times. That's how feeble and docile y'all
feeble
become.
Minds, feeble bodies.
I don't know. I guess we need to really have a Make White Men Great Again campaign.
Make white men great again. When were they ever great?
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Thursday.
White men make great quarterbacks and great musicians. I'll give them that. Anyways, guys, the white guy can't play quarterback for me though. I don't have white quarterbacks on my team. So anyways, guys, that's it. They play every other position though. Love you. That's the Amazing Lucas, one of my favorite channels, and I agree with every single thing he said. Besides, trans porn being degenerate and porn being degenerate in general. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm not gonna ramble. Just focus on yourself. Stop worrying about everybody else. Women, black people, Latinos. Focus inward. Build yourself up before it's too late. Hey, what do I know? I'm only the guy that's healthier and happier than I've ever been.